It started with a single choice, a fleeting lapse that unraveled everything I thought I had. My marriage, my family, my sense of who I was, all disappeared in the blink of an eye. This isn't just about a mistake. It's about how life has a way of delivering consequences with quiet, ruthless precision. For 7 years, I lived what everyone assumed was an ideal life. A warm home, 2 radiant children, and a husband, David, who was steady, dependable, and loving. He remembered the small things, a hug before leaving, taking out the trash without a reminder. Yet over time, our life together had settled into a predictable rhythm. Work, school runs, chores, and early nights on the couch. The kind of love I had once imagined in novels, the fiery, overwhelming kind, had faded into comfort, safe but uninspiring. Then Mark arrived. A new client at work, with a magnetic smile and a presence that made the dull edges of my world seem sharper, more alive. What began as polite emails slowly evolved into lingering lunches and flirtatious messages. With him, I felt visible, desired, and electric in a way I hadn't felt in years. I convinced myself it was harmless, just a temporary thrill to shake up the monotony. But temptation is slippery, and before I knew it, one rainy evening, I crossed a line I thought I never would. The guilt hit me immediately, suffocating and sharp. Returning home, seeing David's jacket on the chair and our family photos adorning the walls, felt like a physical blow. Looking at my children, innocent and unaware, filled me with a shame so intense it left me breathless. Every day became a tense balancing act, a constant state of anxiety. The smallest notification on my phone made me jump. Even David's casual questions felt like accusations. I was no longer living my life. I was hiding from it. I ended things with Mark after that single encounter, cowardly sending a short message, hoping that would erase the damage. For a time, it seemed as though I had escaped. The world didn't crumble. David remained patient and kind, and life carried on. The secret I carried became a heavy, unyielding weight, a punishment I thought I could endure alone. But life, as I learned, had its own timing. Karma was merely biding its time, waiting for the moment when it could strike with precision. That moment came on a Saturday morning. Pancakes were sizzling, the children were laughing, and David was scrolling through his phone with his usual calmness. Then he froze. Confusion flickered across his face, followed by a slow, creeping horror. "Sarah," he said, voice low and trembling, "what is this?" The screen of his phone displayed an email from Mark, addressed to David. The subject line was one word, devastating in its simplicity. Mark had documented everything. Dates, messages, photos, all the moments I had tried to hide. It wasn't a quiet confrontation. It was an orchestrated exposure meant to hurt as deeply as possible. My world spun out of control. The aftermath was unbearable. David's grief was tangible, a raw, living thing. The trust we had built over years shattered in an instant. He left that day, leaving me in the silence of our home, confronted by the bewildered questions of our children and the crushing weight of my own choices. I had destroyed what I loved most. Yet the story's darkness didn't end there. Months later, a call from a friend brought news that left me hollow. Mark had been in a serious car accident, leaving him paralyzed from the waist down. I felt neither relief nor triumph, only a profound, stomach-churning dread. It was as though the universe had drawn a complete arc around my actions, a harsh, undeniable reminder of the destruction set in motion by one selfish decision. That single moment of weakness had irrevocably altered my life. My choices had left permanent scars, not just on my heart, but on those I loved most. I had learned, with devastating clarity, that some mistakes cannot be erased. They linger, shaping everything that comes after, a chilling testament to the price of fleeting desire.